Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I cannot believe I am here this evening. And honestly, I bet you're just as surprised as well. We had some things come up, and I just want to give the best wishes to Landfill. He's a bit under the weather this evening, and I'm sorry, you're just stuck with my ugly mug right now. It's this right here. All night, me and you and me, and our guest. Our guest is a hard-working man. He is also one of those people that you put in the work, you hone in your craft, and you will get recognition if you're good enough. And damn it, this guy's good enough. So who is it this evening? You guys know who it is. I'm sure this has been advertised all over the globe or the universe. Shh. Anyways, the show must go on. I'm going to bring on our guest this evening. You guys already know him. He is the UWE World Champion. He is also the UWE Tag Team, or half of the Tag Team Champions. Give it up for Jake Fury.
What's up?
Jake, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Going good, man. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being here. I'm just gonna go ahead and get right to the business. A lot of the viewers out there, I don't know if Landfill has told you, he'll put out a PSA a little bit. Hey, what kind of questions? Send in some questions. So we got some questions for you. One of the first questions is, what was the moment that got you into wrestling? Whether it was a kid or who drew you in? What moment drew you in? Was it a single match, or was it that one person that it was like, oh man, I got to see this guy?
Well, growing up, I used to watch the product with my grandmother, in Spanish, because I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Spanish, so she used to put me on like, hey, look at this, and I would watch it. And wrestling back then was different than wrestling now. It was a lot more colorful. We all know. Everybody had, you had people like Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior. It was colors and streamers and bright lights and everything else. You always wanted to see this guy because he looked good. Even if you didn't know his name, you remembered him because of what he wore. And ultimately, the moment that got me into it was Macho Man. Macho Man was one of my biggest inspirations growing up. Just seeing how he carried himself. Basically, to him, it was a shoot, 24/8, 25/8. It was a shoot. He was doing what he had to do. He went in there. He busted his butt, got what he got. He had his beautiful wife on his side. We all know everything else that happened with those situations. But at the end of the day, nobody knew that till today. But it was ultimately that. I mean, I really no one match stands out. Everybody's good in their respect.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just ultimately just the character. The character himself was big for me. Him and Hulk Hogan. It was huge. Then you had the Mega Powers. Then you had Sting and Ultimate Warrior, and it was just the whole thing. I was walking around with face paint as a child, doing the whole thing, and my grandma getting mad because I'm using her lipstick to make my face paint. So it was just
right.
It was a thing. But at the end of the day, yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit and fast forward. You're going to school to fulfill your dream to become a professional wrestler. Was there a moment while you were going to school that you were like, excuse my language, fuck this. I don't want to do this, but for some reason you were able to fight through that? Or was it okay?
Yes.
Can you explain?
Yes. When I had started, I had recently, it was literally, we were coming back out of COVID. I jumped back into wrestling school. It was after not doing anything wrestling related for 15 years. I had a family and everything else like that. And literally it was COVID. I mean, we all know how it affected everybody. to even have the opportunity or have an establishment like the UWE to even be like, hey, listen, you know, you guys want to wrestle, you guys want to make it, you know, you have a dream that you put on the back burner because life happened. Here you go. Here it is. And then I did it, and I went out there, and I put everything I could. But there was so much between COVID. I had lost my father and my mother the year prior. It was just too much at one point. There was a lot of back shadow things that was preventing me and blocking me from doing what I've been wanting to do my whole life. And there was a lot of, excuse my French, there was a lot of fuck this moments. But at the end of the day, the bigger picture, and as you can see behind me, the bigger picture is what made me stay. The progress from our first matches to our current matches, the progress of our talent that we're getting left, right, and sideways. I mean, it's too many pros, not enough cons to hold on to the screw this attitude, honestly, you know?
Okay. Yeah, totally. Condolences on your loss. So you're, how do I want to say it? So, dang it, I just lost what I was about to say. We're live, so we're going to keep on rolling. What do you think, going through the school, we won't get into your first match yet, but going through the school, what was like the worst injury that you acquired? I hear a lot of people, a lot of guys talk about when you're running the ropes and you're throwing yourself into the ropes, you come out with the bruises under your arms and stuff.
Yeah,
I actually think a friend of yours actually showed me some pictures of when he was going through the school, and I was
you see, like I said, you watch it on TV and you're like, oh, that looks good, and you get in there, them ropes ain't your friend. They don't know your name. That turnbuckle ain't your friend. There's a lot of times when I first started running them ropes, the middle of my back bruised, all the crap. My arms getting pinched because, you know, there's a certain way you got to do things. That's why they say don't try this at home, and don't do this, don't do that, because you will hurt yourself. And sure enough, yeah, tailbone, all that. But my worst injury, honestly, that I've gotten doing this is, I can honestly say, would be my groin injury. I had a groin injury shortly after winning the heavyweight championship and right before winning the tag championship. So that's the worst. And that wasn't even, it was literally a freak accident. I took a bump wrong and that was it. You know, they can happen that fast. So
see, and that's the part that I try to explain to the non-fans, that it's those moments. It's sadly enough, I think, honestly, for me as a fan, it's moments like that I actually look for. I'm like, ooh, that wasn't supposed to happen, you know. Versus and honestly know that accidents happen. You know, a one step, 1 foot can make the hugest difference when you're running the dance in the ring, so to speak.
Exactly.
So, and you know, a lot of people don't get that, and then to, you know, let's go into the growing injury, to get injured and to be injured and to still, for the love of doing it for the fans, so the fans get pure entertainment out of it. Yes, football does that. Yes, basketball, sports, you know, baseball, all these sports do this. But once they get injured on the field, they're done. No offense, and I'm sure some of those athletes would try to play and go for it, but to be able to just kind of turn it off, almost like that just didn't happen. My leg isn't just mangled there, or, you know, I don't feel like my testes are clear down to my
exactly.
Right now. So
it's all mental. It's all mental, man. At the end of the day, it's mind over matter. I mean, did I risk hurting myself more? Yes. Did I? No. Why? Because it took a lot of focus. So you got to keep pushing. They say the business waits for nobody. You can't quit. Like there's no quitting in wrestling. There's no, oh, I can't do this, or I give up. All right, the show must go on. You still have to do it. You know, you can lick your wounds later, but you still got to go out to battle.
Exactly. What is in your career, what is your most hated moment? Like the moment that you hated the worst, whether it be in a match, whether it be, that moment in school that, the guy was like, "You're gonna need to do this," and you're like,
Honestly, I don't have a hated moment. There's been many of situations I've come across in my career. There isn't a move I won't take unless it's unsafe, and even then, to a certain extent. I mean, I did get a little upset. I wouldn't say hated him. I was disappointed about it, but I ended up catching a double team neck breaker. It was a no, excuse me, let me rephrase that. It was a double backdrop, and there was just too much height on the backdrop. And when I went, I almost landed on my neck. It was really bad. It was a scary moment. It's one of those things, like I said, you could be a professional, you could be doing this 20, 30, 40 years, and all it takes is that one misstep because, too much torque here or too much torque there. But other than
yeah,
that, yeah, I wouldn't say I hated it, but it was just one of those like, come on, guys, we got to take care of each other.
oh yeah, definitely, and that's another thing that the non-fans don't realize, the trust that the two people in the match have
Yeah,
with each
yeah.
other
I trust
is
you with my life and vice versa. If I do one move wrong, you could easily, I don't want to bring up and I don't want to mark out or nothing, but you could end up like the Stone Cold, broken neck because somebody gave him a power driver the wrong way. You could end up like anybody,
you
messed
could
up.
end up like draws.
Yeah, yeah.
The big sad story there. Anyways, let's switch gears a little bit again. Out of all the accomplishments, right? You went through the school. You're let's fast forward. You've already done your opening match. Later here in a sec, we'll have you walk us through the feeling of finally getting your first professional match. But let's fast forward it. Walk us through the feeling. You just recently became UWE champion. Um, Walk us
Surreal.
through. Uh,
Surreal. I mean, what from bell to bell? I mean, it's one thing for a lot of us growing up wanting to do this. It's another thing wrapping your head around what's the music I'm going to use, what character am I going to have, everything else like that. The first time when I had my match for the World Heavyweight Championship against the Guru King Eddie Love, it was surreal. Hearing your music go off, knowing that's your music, hearing the crowd chant your name, knowing that's your name, they're not just calling you, you know what I mean? It's surreal. Like still to this day, I say the same thing. It is just a surreal experience. I'm still expecting to wake up one day and this is all a dream. Like literally, I tell the guys a lot. If I can bag all that energy from the crowd and harness it in one thing, so that way when they say we're like little kids, man, I wish I could bottle up that energy. Okay, imagine 300-400 people screaming your name. If I could bottle up that energy, dude, I could live forever. Honestly, it's a whole nother feeling. It's undescribable, honestly.
right. The only thing that for me now personally in my life that could even possibly come close to that is I'm from Kansas City and we have Rockfest here. 15 bands, 2 stages, 12 hours nonstop solid rock back and forth from stage 1 to stage 2. Anyways, the massive amount of people and all the energy flowing through when everybody is singing that same song and
Yes.
everybody's in tune. So yeah, being in tune and hearing your name being chanted out there, it's just like there's been times to where I've left concerts, it's like my batteries are so charged right now, I'm not gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, you're freaking wired because you're like, man, I can't believe this. This is good. Look at all this. All these people got together for one purpose and one cause, and that cause was to see whoever performed. And in your case, to see all these bands perform. In my case, they came, asses and seats came to see me do my thing in front of all these people, see our federation and all our guys go out there and do so much. It's just
It's
crazy.
always
It's
different.
just
Every match is
crazy.
just more surreal. If we have a fan from Facebook or a fellow watcher there, for those of you watching on Facebook, if you go up to that top right hand corner, click the link, uh, you will be able to okay them to use your name. They're not going to come after your wallet. They're not going to try to scam you. They're not going to give your name to a bunch of credit companies that will try to call you. They just want to make sure it's okay to use your name for Facebook purposes only,
Yeah.
more specifically this year. But if you would like to stay anonymous, that is perfectly fine, fine as well. Let's go on to the next question. So you're accomplishing things. You know, you've went through the motions. You're a professional wrestler. Um, you're holding belts. Not only do you hold the UWE championship belt, but now you hold the tag team championship belt as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So, um, was it was it the same feeling, or was it I've already had a belt, this just adds to my collection type of thing, or
Okay.
the more the
Um,
merrier?
I call myself the Furious Belt Collector to upset some people because that's just what I need to do. Um, at the end of the day, each accomplishment means just as much, if not more, than the next. Because again, I would have never thought in a million years I'd be 36 years old doing what I'm doing, winning championships, pleasing the crowd, all of that. Like I would have never thought. So yeah, it wasn't a, oh, I got one, I'm gonna take the other one, I'm just gonna put it on another stack of, it doesn't work that way. I won the World Heavyweight Championship on my own as a singles champion, and I have a partner, which I now Cowboy Cliff Rogers. He's
Mhm.
my tag team, my co-champion, and again, we did that as a team. He may have taken most of the beating in that ring, but we did it as a team. I promise you. I promise
I,
you.
I promise you. And hey, somebody has to be that person. I mean, you look at Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson. Rocky Johnson took a hell of a beating for many years,
Uh-huh.
and you know Atlas got all the glory, so to
Uh-huh.
speak.
Yeah.
But it works out. You guys got a thing that's working really well. Obviously, it's worked well enough to see those belts around your guys' waist. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So,
Yes. Yes.
what more validation could one receive in this industry than that?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Exactly.
there is none. So, I mean, if you're not doing it for a belt, um, then what are you doing it
And
for?
it
I
ain't
mean,
even a belt.
yes,
And I say this, it's the oldest thing in the world. It's not even a belt. Belts hold up pants. These are championship titles.
there
You
you
understand
go.
what I'm saying? So these are the closest thing to trophies you're gonna get, other than an Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy or a cup of some the Stanley Cup or anything like that. These are respective championships. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things that, again, it took more behind the scenes and a lot of hard work for all parties involved to get where we are. Like, that's just what it is. I joke around with the light heavyweight champion and I tell him I'm going to drop weight just so I can get his title also. But I'm not going to do that because that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot for me health wise. That's going to be a lot. So, but like at the end of the day, it's just one of those things. Like I'm just humbled. Ultimately humbled is what it is.
Okay, this may be a tough or easy question for you. Um, Live or dead, a dream match. Who would be somebody that you would literally give your left foot to wrestle?
Damn, that's put me on the spot there. Let me see. Honestly, it would have to be Shawn Michaels,
The showstopper.
the showstopper. It would have to be like my wrestling boots are literally the exact same wrestling boots. It's been one of those things that I've always saw his athleticism at the time when it was him and Marty when they were the Rockers. You know, that tag team action. It was so good. It was straight to the point. They knew what they were doing. They could have went out there blindfolded and still pulled the same exact match, the same exact numbers, and put the same amount of asses in seats. So honestly, yeah, I mean, like all teams, you know, you got to go your way depending on how the story goes. But when it came to Sean took that. Sean embraced it, and I mean, shit, he's still doing things.
See, and I like, I try to live vicariously is the wrong word. I try to emulate a little bit of him through my personal life, as far as like, man, he is just out there. At one time, he was just doing all kinds of crazy things, not
He
only
was
in
young
the
though. Everybody forgets what they were doing when they were in their early 20s. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm
right.
just saying.
No, no,
He
no.
was young.
And that's the thing, you know. Nobody stays young forever, so you only, you know,
Tell
and
me about
that's the thing. I think having guys like Matt and Jeff Hardy, or anybody that was in that Attitude Era, you know, a lot of those guys knew, I only have so long with my body. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be young forever. I need to blow out and just be the biggest pack of dynamite this side of ever. And then you get stuff like Matt and Jeff Hardy, or the whole TLC thing. You can't not mention
Exactly.
Edge Christian and the Dudley Boys with that.
They're in their late 40s, still jumping off of ladders. I'm pretty sure like. I don't know. Like that's just one of those things. But it's the passion. You don't think about it. Like I said, you go lick your wounds in the locker room or on the tour bus or in your rental or whatever you drive back to wherever you got to go, because you're there. You're there for the roar of the crowd. You're there for all of that. Like it's a whole atmosphere. It's just like as a kid going to the circus. You go to the circus to see the elephants, to smell the cotton candy, to the smell of the popcorn, the roar of the crowd. They're not cheering for you, but that energy is still there. The oohs, the ahs, that's all there. You're doing it for the same exact purpose. You're doing it for the same exact purpose, but at the end of the day, you're the one being recognized for what you do. You don't have to do what you do. You could be sitting at a cubicle or doing something else, but you're actually sitting here, stepping through the ropes, putting your body on the line for the enjoyment. And I mean, ultimately, you know, for the children love that. It gives them something, you know, heroes. It's always good to be a hero to somebody if you can.
Exactly.
There ain't many heroes anymore.
Where was I at? Okay, going with, okay, so she said, or you said Shawn Michaels would have been a dream match. Going back to Monday Night War days, saying you were a professional wrestler then, somebody gives you the call, but they both give you the call. Who do you go with? Do you go with WCW or do you go with WWE back in the Monday Night War days?
Knowing what I know now, or completely blind?
Oh, man.
That's a question for you.
That's a hard one. I mean, besides,
if I knew what I knew now,
if you knew what you knew now, besides them buying the company.
Damn. I'm old fashioned when it comes to any experience. Any experience is better than no experience. You can't learn how to, you know, work heavy machinery if you have never tried to work heavy machinery. So realistically, oh man, that's hard. That's hard because like WCW had talent. Turner's brand was doing their thing. Their guys were doing their thing. During the Attitude Era, all those guys were working with all the crazy stuff. The factor you're missing out is the whole ECW factor that was involved, which is why WWE went the Attitude Era route they went. And WCW went, we're going to use these guys' real names so we can add some personalization to the gimmick instead of them just being these over-the-top. I use the word flamboyant, but you get what I'm saying. You know,
characters, really.
Yeah, like you're not realistic. I want to know that when you leave, you go somewhere like they say Jake the Snake. He would sit there, smoke a cigarette, take a shot, go out in the ring with his snake, drop you on your head, 1, 2, 3, go back, finish his cigarette, finish his drink, and go about his business. So, I mean, That's really hard. Knowing what I know now, I mean, I would say, yeah, I probably would have went the WE route. But again, like, for how long? Like I said earlier before we went live, you know, what's the cost of going on the big stage? If
Seeing the product now, seeing the product today, and seeing, I'm just going to be hated for this, but seeing the Relive WCW, say you get both calls today, do you stay or do you not stay? Do you go with WWE's product or do you go with AEW? Where would you want Jake Fury at in today's standards?
Realistically, AEW would be more likely to reach out to me than WWE would, just on the simple fact of their stuff is also very developmental. They're grabbing a lot of guys from the indies. I mean, I actually have a couple personal friends that just got signed on to AEW, and they're like, wow, you know what I mean? I can't believe, you know, my hard work, this, that, and the third, but it'd be more likely them to wrestle there for, let's say, for argument's sake, 2-3 years than to go to WWE, be in the shadows until they can figure out something to do for you, and then be out there and television and everything else that follows. Like, it just doesn't seem logical. The way they're going through talent, left, right, and sideways, it seems like a waste. Even if I go out there and get squashed by one of their biggest guys, what's that going to do for anything? I didn't get nothing out of that. I mean, I got camera view, I got camera time, I got all that other stuff that happened. But at the end of the day, they're going to be like, yeah, that's that guy that went to WWE and got squashed, when I can go to AEW and actually have a decent match that puts me and who I'm fighting with on the same plateau, instead of me showing up as the guy with no entrance music standing in the ring, while the other guy with entrance music comes out and wipes his butt with me and goes about his day.
Right, exactly. All right, well, to the fans, if it happens, and the way this guy's going, it's gonna happen. All right, keep a lookout for him on them TV shows that we all love to watch. To go on and go forward, what inspires you now to keep going? You know, you have the belts, right? So to speak, you've conquered it all. You know, you're on top of your game right now. You're not only a singles champion, but again, you're a tag team champion. What inspires you to keep going now? You know, for your
what inspires me to keep going now is the progress we are making as a company. I can't speak for myself. I mean, I can speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody else. But the way our company is growing, especially in Louisiana, where the territories aren't the way they used to be and everything else like that, my inspiration and my everything that makes me want to keep doing this is how much we are growing and how good the guys are getting. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'd rather be on a ship that's starting off than a ship that's already sailing with holes in it, ready to sink.
Well said, man. Well said. So again, to relate, or not to relate, but again to revert to the fact that you're really on top of your game right now. Again, you hold 2 championship titles.
Yes. It's very heavy on my shoulders. Very heavy.
What's next for Jake Fury? What does the future hold for Jake Fury?
Well, there's a lot of stuff I'm not at liberty to disclose, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to be at the top, stay at the top as long as I can. I mean, it's lonely at the top, but it is what it is. I mean, I have a match coming up. I'm really just focusing on that currently, trying to make sure I keep the heavyweight championship around my waist, because Eddie Love is a great opponent.
That's going to be in Center, Texas on June 11th.
Yes,
so any of our viewers in the Texas, in the Center, Texas area,
tickets are on sale too. They can go and order them from the link. I'm pretty sure if they go to the UWE page, they'll be able to find the stuff there, and they can start getting their tickets now, because they will sell out fast. They
definitely will. Again, I'm in the Kansas City area. I wish that I could find and have the money to open a venue for you guys up here, just to
Yeah.
stretch you guys out up here, because
Heck yeah.
I've only been able to catch a little bit of stuff you've posted, a little bit of stuff of what Rick Wildly has posted as well. And
Great guy,
I love you guys'
great partner. He was
brand.
also a partner at one point. He was also my tag partner at one point.
So I
So
love your guys' brand. I really do. I'm the kind of guy who I like professional football, but I really like college ball much better. And
same.
it's the
They're
same with
hungrier.
the indies. It's the same with the indie scene or a more independent scene versus a huge giant corporation. Like you said, why be a part of a ship that has holes in it when you can be a part of something that you know is solid? You know, it may
Yeah.
be small in the beginning, but it's definitely got the room to grow. Um, is there any is there any words of inspiration that you would give to a young wrestler or a young up and coming wrestler, or even that guy that is sitting in his house that's 36 years old that thinks, I might be able to do it, but I'm 36 and I just don't think I can. I don't think I can hang. What do you got for those people?
To the young guys, I'm gonna come out and say it right now. Take care of your body. That your body will not last forever. I literally had herniated discs and pinched nerves and everything else under the sun before I started to do this professionally. And I mean, I know it's cheesy, but I mean, never give up. Never give up. Dreams do come true. You just gotta have the fortitude and the mental, you just got to focus. Don't let nothing get in your way. Everything's going to get in your way to destroy everything you're trying to do in your life, whether it's wrestling, working, anything. It's going to be there. There's going to be paths that are going to, let that shit go. People will weed themselves out. Focus on everything that's happening at the end of that tunnel, and it's not always going to be bad forever.
See, there you go. When it comes to certain things, I can't speak for everybody, but I myself, I'll be honest, I was one of those guys that was like, I just don't think that I want to, but I don't think that I was. And my uncle told me this a long time ago. The best person in any professional sport, the very, very best, is sitting at home on his couch because he convinced himself that he wasn't good enough. So at the end of the day, you guys on the couch, you guys are good enough.
Yeah.
I am not able to live my wrestling dream, but some people know me in other worlds as Big River, and I vicariously live my dream through that. And even then, it's been a ride. It really is. So
Yeah.
if you have any inclination that you think you might have fun doing it, just get up and do it. I mean, honestly.
My dad, rest his soul. I didn't mean to cut you off. My dad used to always tell me, as long as you got a breath in your lungs, you can do it.
Exactly. Hey, us as I don't want to say it without offending other people out there. Us brown people, we find a way, even if there ain't a way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You make a way.
Don't
Don't focus on the path that's there. If you got to make your own path and kick your own doors in, do so.
Exactly. Well, I think I am going to wrap us up here. It was awesome having you on BTV.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
I do wish that Landfill was able to join us a little more. He's a little under the weather. Maybe next time we can get something booked with you and your tag team partner. And get you guys on there. You want to do me a favor, though, before we leave?
Yeah.
I gotta see those belts up close. I'm a little bit of title. I would love to see those titles up close.
Yeah, definitely. Let me grab them. Hold on 1 second.
We got a treat, fellas and ladies out there. We got a treat for sure. Not only is Landfill joining us at Best Visibility, look at that beauty right there. Look at
that belt.
Trying to get it where I can. There we go.
That is beautiful.
Man, that is beautiful.
That
is
is
a nice
belt
looking
right
belt.
there.
And then my newly acquired baby. I feel like I'm cheating on one with the other, but my newly acquired baby.
That happens when people, get double champions. You got to try to equal it out.
And I'm going to say something. I'm going to say it right now because I'm pretty sure he's out there watching. I'm really disappointed at the fact that I couldn't defeat Logan Wade for this championship. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm just putting it out there. It would have really been nice. I know our paths will most definitely cross again. And then hopefully by then, I'll still have this one around my waist.
Well, there you have it. Maybe that's what the future holds for Jake Fury. So Logan Wade is definitely a monstrous looking man. So
I'm a little bit.
Maybe we can get him on the show one day.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Hold up, Landfill. We have Championship just admitting something. A champion.
A little fear, but it's all right because fear just makes me stronger. So I'm not worried about it.
Hey, that's right. Look it in the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, Logan Wade. The fear, he's got it, but it ain't affecting him none. All right. So maybe a future show get you two on here. Maybe a future show you and your tag team partner. Definitely for sure, got to get this guy over here up to 100%. Get him back up to 100%. Again, Landfill. Thank you for the opportunity, for allowing me to host the show. Jake, thanks for being a part of the show, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Anytime.
Hey, I just want to say, first and foremost, Brandon, thank you for stepping in my absence. I have been really under the weather, but I wanted this to still, be on the screens. I wanted to get Jake Fury out there to where we can show off and tell everybody about the UWE and what all they have to offer. And let me mark out for just a second because I am a fan. It is the UWE heavyweight champion, one half of the tag team champion. It's Jake Fury on the screens with us here on BTV. Man, woo! Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Keep tuning in to see what's next. And Jake Fury, we'll have to have you on again very, very soon. Thank y'all and good night.
Appreciate it, y'all.